young people. Welcome back. B in the house. You like that long in the day, huh? I know you do. All right, guys, so we got chapter 11, section 3, simplifying rational expressions. Objective 1, identify values excluded from the domain of a rational expression. Objective 2, simplify rational expressions. All right, guys, here we go. So, concept and skill. So the concept, rational expressions, I call them complicated fractions. So rational expressions, the skill, simplifying, I heard that. That just means answer it, right? Get it to its simplest form. And of course, identifying, so excluded values. Let's do it, y'all. I'm excited, I'm ready. Let's go. All right, guys, so 22 questions. And I don't think we're gonna do all 22. We do want to keep these videos at a good, safe time frame. Whether, my man Algebra with Al or the BMB. I know we're good looking and I know these videos are good, but an hour video, we're learning, guys, and I'm glad you're here. Keep commenting, keep sharing. But here we go. State the excluded values for each rational expression. Again, p cannot equal 7. Because if p was 7, 7 minus 7 would be 0. And I can't have 2p divided by 0. It just does not work. Right? So p equals 7, that's the excluded value. Again, I just like to say p cannot equal 7. It's the same thing, right? So for number 2, n cannot be negative 4. Exclude that value. And for number 3, hold up, I've got a second degree binomial. So that second degree binomial in the bottom needs to be factored. Again, if you were with me in earlier chapters, you recognize the dots, difference of 2 squares, k times k and 2 times 2. So k plus 2 and k minus 2 is what we're gonna factor that into. That's one of our, just gotta have it, right? And therefore, k equals 2 and k equals negative 2. Meaning, k cannot be 2 and k cannot be negative 2 because either one of those will form a 0 in my denominator, which we cannot have. So, number 4, recognizing the dots again, x and 5. X times x and 5 times 5. So, I can factor the numerator as well. It's just good factoring skill. And again, it can affect your final solution, final expression, solution expression. Tomato, let's not get technical. Let's have our fun. This is not too bad. If x was 5, 5 minus 5 is 0. Can't have 0 times anything. And of course, if x was negative 5 plus 5 will give me 0. So I have to make sure I indicate both 5 and negative 5 as excluded values. Flashback. So I have a second degree trinomial, y squared plus 3x minus 18. Where am I at? 3x plus 15. Oh, I'm flashing back to fact. I was ready to move on to number 7, y'all. Or 5, here we go. GCF, pulling it out. If you like it, give me 2. If you like it, give me 3. If you like it, just have fun with it. So, very important skill, guys. If you do not know how to pull out your GCF, go back, watch a different video, put something in the comment, I'll make a full 20-minute video on it. But if you are an Algebra 2 and you can't factor, God help me, you need a life vest. All right, because you're drowning, and I know that feeling. I've taught for a lot of years, and there's nothing worse than feeling like you're drowning in the classroom. Get the help, get the help. So, flashing back again now to what I knew I needed to do, number 5, y squared minus 9 is a difference of 2 squares, y times y and 3 times 3, so boom, bang, pow. But the denominator, I recognize, will be 2 binomials, and I need to figure out what multiplies to give me negative 18, but will add up to a positive 3. And of course, I need a positive and a negative. So, am I going to show it? Am I going to give it? How am I going to remind you? Because we are still flashing back. So, I didn't show. I just gave it. 6 times 3 is 18, but of course 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. And therefore 6 plus 3 will give me a positive 3, so I factored that correctly. Now of course excluding negative 6 and positive 3 because those two values will cause your denominator to get a value of 0. All right, number 6. Again, here we go guys, factor in a trinomial. Simple trinomial, which is different than a complex trinomial. Complex meaning your a is not equal to 1. And again, hope that didn't cause you to drown. No, just kidding. The little things, guys, the vocabulary, and here it goes. So, multiplies to give me 8, but adds up to a negative 2. And of course, I need a positive and a negative. So 1 times 8 and 2 times 4 are the only ways you can get 8, right? So 1 minus 8, or 8 minus 1 would be 7, and 4 minus 2 would be 2. So go ahead and give it a little circle because I found what I want. Give it a little circle because I found what I want. I want that. So I need 2 and 4. So b plus 2 and b minus 4, be careful because it needs to add up to a negative. So this is that skill that you have to pound in over and over so that when you get to this now, where you have it in the numerator and you have it in the denominator, it's not going to slow you up. So knowing how to factor your trinomial, whether it's a simple trinomial where a is equal to 1, or if it's a complex trinomial where your a does not equal 1, which just is a little bit more in the factoring component. But for my denominator, what multiplies give me 10, 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. And of course, since it's positive, then I ain't got to worry about which one's negative and which one's positive because it's positive. 2 plus 5 is 7. Boom, I found it. Check. So there it is. It's factored, numerator and denominator. And of course, the excluded values should be negative 2 and negative 5. So guys, be careful as you can see where I wrote b equals 2. Mistake, negative 2. And that's where I love it because if I'm sitting here doing that wrong, you know how many of the students I've had over the last 12, 15, however many years that I taught that, I'm like, look, man, I'm not taking no points, but this was the test. If this was multiple choice, you would have got it wrong, right? So slow down, get it, and make it work for you, right? Okay. Whoa, monomials. That's right. Single term. And again, excluded values of the variables. So of course, b and c cannot be 0 because 0 times anything is 0, and we can't have 0 in that denominator, so yeah, we get that. But simplify the expression. I love simplifying monomials because it just reminds me of when my daddy made me write my multiplication down before I went outside to play. Boy, wasn't that a great summer. All right, so what are we doing here? We are simplifying 21 BC divided by 28 BC squared. So we're canceling the common factors of b and c and c. And 7 goes into 21, 7 goes into 28. What's up with this monomial? Oh, 4. And 1 c left. So, what values cannot be used for the variable b and c? Well, b is gone. Ain't no more b. B done caught. B got caught up, y'all. And b is gone. Wait, I thought you said b was gone. All right, whatever. B is gone now, right? You know what I'm talking about. So, here we go. We got another monomial. So again, this is a skill, that I remember doing in one of my videos, and hopefully factor tree or your multiplication is on point. So I got 16, x cubed y to the second. And exponent rules are definitely useful here. 36 x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. So I'm going to say x to the 3 minus 5 and y to the 2 minus 3. Because rules are important. All right. So 16 divided by 36, common denominator, common factor of 4. Right. So I'll be doing that later. But x to the 3 minus 5. Am I going to write it like that? 3 minus 5. And y to the, am I going to write it like that? 2 minus 3. So whether you're doing it in your head, whether you're showing your work, that's what we're here for, right? Concept and skill. So the skill of simplifying monomials, the skill of simplifying rational expressions. So whatever you're calling it, man, you got the skill down. You know what you're doing, especially if you're here and you're understanding number 9, 7, and we're going to get to 11 and 13 in just a second here. Use 4 to go into 16, use 4 to go into 36, so I get that 4/9, and then of course x to the negative 2, y to the negative 1, and some will not allow you to use a negative exponent in your final answer, so just writing it where it belongs, which will be in the denominator. Got it? All right, let's take care of it. So 11, I want to see 11. Because I'm seeing the factoring that you're going to need to use in 11. And while we got a little bit of time, actually we don't have a lot of time, but this is definitely the point of the book where I point out to some of my students that are trying their best, but at some point did not give me their best early in the year. We're building upon skills that we gained in August, September, October, November. I really do nothing in December, but not on school time. But you get my point, right? So as I'm pointing out here, guys, why the X's are in the bottom, I'm pointing out how the rule works for exponent rules. Writing it out, canceling them. This is something that hopefully you learn and you apply. If you learned it, you won't forget it, right? Especially if it's being used. So, BMB, ganó español. Muy poquito. Muy poquito. 3 años en escuela, high school? See, I don't even know. But my point being, I don't use my Spanish, so therefore I don't retain it. I learned a little bit, but I don't use it, so therefore it's not working out. So this algebra, we're gonna keep using, right? Especially for my students that are moving on to algebra 2, geometry, and all those fun upper level math courses, right? So we're at it, number 11. N plus 6, we're good. Denominator, I got a 3, pull it out. N plus, guess what? 6. So what I'm seeing now is, hold on, what I got in the top, I got in the bottom. Can I cancel the ends? Careful, not the ends, but you can cancel the binomial. So n plus 6 and n plus 6 gets canceled, right? Leaving with the invisible 1 that's in front of that parentheses in the numerator and 3, so I'm simplifying down to 1/3. And much easier than you would think. I would think that you would think that would be harder, but it's not. It can get harder, but it's not harder. I just know what to do. So for my next one, number 13, I forget I gotta follow directions. So I'm just glad, Mr. Kraft, that I can simplify it. Yes, me too. B&B is proud. So are we gonna do 13? Bring it on. So my point being, guys, again, that having the skill to factor, whether it's pulling out a greatest common factor or factoring a difference of 2 squares, recognizing exponent rules, right? So for 13, I recognize my difference of 2 squares. A square, y times y, and a square, 8 times 8, and the difference, so minus, right? So numerator, y plus 8, y minus 8. But just from Jump Street, I have to exclude negative 8. There it is again. Now you see what I'm doing? Mine is on completion to the point of, I didn't even put the right thing. It should be negative 8. But you get it, you got it. Y plus 8, y minus 8 because of the difference of 2 squares. And of course, with the denominator being y plus 8, you have to exclude the original value of negative 8, right? But when I factor, hey, see, I know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. Yeah, but I make mistakes, so just watch your tone in those comments, especially you grown people. What are we doing? Counseling, right? Y plus 8, and of course, y plus 8 are going to simplify, leaving me with y minus 8. Simplify each expression. State the excluded values of the variables. Boom. Did it. And how about some more? That's what I like. So we got 2 more monomials. a binomial divided by a binomial, and then of course the big dog 14. Excuse me. 12m squared r divided by 24m r cubed. So a common factor of 12 and 24 is 12. So a common factor of 12, so 12 goes in 12 one time, 12 goes in 24 two times. And again, using my rules, I got 2 m's on the top, 1 on the bottom, so that leaves me 1 on top. 1 r on the bottom and 3 r's on the bottom, leaves me with 2 r's on the bottom. So I'm literally just writing out my answer knowing that you are keeping up, right? But don't forget your excluded values. So, and of course, we don't want 0 because if m was 0, 24 times 0 is 0, and whatever r is cubed times 0 is 0, so we can't have our variables equaling 0. And it's kind of interesting how I know some of the things I need to explain, I can explain once. Some things I explain, I am telling you to go back and listen to it again. Matter of fact, go watch, read, find some other avenues of instruction, of explanation. Definitely, that's what's going to help you in making sure that grade, that desire to learn. I'll be the first one. Are you trying to get an A or are you just trying to learn? Those are two different things. Let me know. But let me do this. Yee! All right, so number 12, we got a binomial. Do you see it? 4x minus 4. Do you see it? Yeah, right. 4. They share a common factor of 4. Let's pull it out. So 4 on the outside, left with x minus 1 as a new binomial. Denominator, 4 on the outside with a x plus 1. Hold on, they don't match. That's okay, because you still have coefficients that can be canceled. So I didn't slice them, but they should be sliced. But the 4's would cancel, and x minus 1 divided by x plus 2. X cannot equal a positive or negative 1. Yeah. And then, of course, the big dog. So I got the trinomial, and I don't think I got enough room down here, so I'm gonna make some room. I prefer some room. I'm not gonna give myself no room. I don't even listen to myself at times. So my stomach's hurting from that Chinese this weekend. But y squared minus 7y minus 18. Negative. So therefore, I'm going to need a negative binomial and a positive binomial. So y minus something and y plus something. Multiplies give me negative 18, but adds up to a negative 7. Very good. 9 and 2 multiply to give me 18, and of course, 9 minus 2 is 7. So let me make sure I make that 9 negative. So again, moving kind of fast in that factoring of the numerator, but if you've got your factoring of simple trinomials down, that was not fast at all. The skill we're working on today is simplifying the rational expression. Your binomial y minus 9 cancel with the binomial in the denominator y minus 9. And yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. This is where I would literally stand up in the front and say, this separates men from the boys and the women from the girls, right? Who wants to step on up? And I really love for a student to give this one a try, right? So starting from the bottom, because again, we're not doing hour-long videos no more. So numerator, multiplies give me 9, it adds up to 6, and it's a negative positive, so I need 2 negative binomials. I need a b minus and a b minus. What multiplies give me 9, it adds up to 6? You got it. Say it again. I didn't hear you. What? That's fine. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So in that denominator, though, what multiplies gives you 18, it adds up to 9. So again, as I'm talking it out right now, you should, or you did, or you must have a technique that you go to and use consistently in order to factor your trinomials. So my mind is trained, and I want yours to get there as well. Just for the simple fact of just right there, I know a negative times a negative is a positive, so that's where I knew both binomials would have subtraction in them, because the negative times a negative would be a positive, but the middle term would add up to more negatives. So the b minus 3 with the b minus 3, one in the numerator, one in the denominator, are going to cancel each other, leaving me with b minus 3 divided by b minus 6. And again, what values need to be excluded? Am I going to give you that? Of course I am. But let's get some more in though, because I think we got time for one more. Or I could be wrong. So, working our way upward, did the last one, knowing we were thinking about time. Thank you much. So for 20, again, trinomial. It's a positive negative. When I say a trinomial that's a positive negative, I'm saying a squared plus 3a minus. I'm saying a positive, then a negative inside of your trinomial. So now that's going to tell me the two binomials are going to be, one's positive and one's negative. So I just put a plus sign, I put a minus sign, because I know that is what it has to be in the numerator. A plus and a minus. Or in this case, a minus then a plus, right? Sounds like my grade. That is. All right, and same thing for the denominator, right? One needs to be negative, one needs to be positive. So now I'm playing the game. Well, multiply is giving me negative 4, but adds up to a positive 3. 4 times 1 is 4, but 4 minus 1 is 3. So choose your positive and negatives accordingly. And same thing for the denominator. There's only 2 ways to get 8. 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. So I'm just thinking which one, right? And there we go. Cancel the two binomials. Then match. Numerator, denominator, a plus 4, a plus 4. And there we go. Got a final answer, and again, what must be excluded. And you recognize I'm going back to the original two binomial. Well, I'm going back to when I factored the trinomial and got the binomial, because if a was 2, 2 minus 2 would be 0, it would cancel out that other binomial. So even though you're canceling them and you get a final answer of just one binomial, make sure you do recognize that the two binomials that were in the denominator earlier still matters. Yes, it still matters. So 3h minus 9, all divided by h squared minus 7h plus 12. So 3 parentheses, h minus 3 parentheses closed, and now the denominator, h minus 7, h minus, and an h plus. And again, that simply comes from knowing it's a minus plus trinomial. We need a negative, negative. Did I say negative, positive? Sorry. Sometimes I just like to sit back and watch the work and wait for questions. There I am pointing it out, right? And of course, the h can equal 4 as well. So, yeah, I knew this was going to be a good one. I knew it was going to be good, knowing that we were going to pull on some prior knowledge, GCF, pulling out greatest common factor, as well as factoring the simple trinomial. We're looking forward to actually, remember when you did not like fractions? Well, these are fractions. They're fractions with polynomials in them. So now we're going to be coming up on adding fractions that have polynomials in them. Looking forward to it, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Remember to like, comment, share, and see you in the next video.